Golden words of the Buddha. When you can accept, nothing becomes a problem. A contented mind is always filled with happiness. Anyone living in this world does not find it easy. We all taste sweetness and bitterness, experience sorrow and joy. This world is far from perfect. When the sun reaches its zenith, it soon inclines westward. As soon as the moon is fully round, it begins to wane. The most beautiful scenery is often when the flower has not fully bloomed, or the moon is not perfectly full. A slight sense of incompleteness can become eternal. Only because it is imperfect do we call it the human realm. Accepting means nothing becomes a problem, and knowing contentment keeps the heart ever full of happiness. Happiness arises from a sense of joy, from a light-hearted attitude, and from your own choice. Even simple matters, if thought over too deeply and calculated too thoroughly, will turn complicated. Conversely, no matter how complex a matter may be, if we learn to take it lightly and let go, it too becomes simple and easy to resolve. Be a bit more open, and you will learn many things. Be a bit more graceful, and life becomes brighter. Be a bit wiser, and your smile will be more radiant, more content. Life by nature is simply this: gently smiling at both the world and its people, peacefully watching the sun rise and set, freely observing the flowers bloom and the moonlight glow. Where does the dust of the world cling? How can it trouble you? Living simply brings joy. Living too complicatedly only breeds suffering. Yet many remain mired in sorrow, burdened with numerous worries, because they overthink, lack decisiveness, and forever weigh one thing against another. Therefore, whatever needs to be taken up, take it up without hesitation. Whatever needs to be laid down, let it go decisively. In life, the most precious thing is not money, fame, or power, but your inner self, your cultivation and qualities. These aspects speak to a person's character, determining whether they are trustworthy and revealing if they are good or bad. Be genuine in conduct, sincere in heart and intention. Do not calculate too much, lest you only harm yourself. When working, leave yourself some retreat. When speaking, leave a bit of virtue in your words, thus you will not corner yourself into disaster. Doing more good deeds will naturally reduce wrongdoing. Holding sincerity in high regard will lessen scheming. Encouraging others more will lessen blame and criticism. Helping more will reduce exploitation. A human life is as transient as morning dew. Once it evaporates, it's over. Life is short and existence is ever changing. Therefore, while still healthy and with time, strive to do what is helpful and meaningful. Do not wait until you've lost it all to regret in vain. Ultimately, what do we realize in a lifetime? Life doesn't need to be overly abundant or wealthy. It only needs each passing day to have meaning. Money is for spending. Having enough to cover your needs is a blessing. Too much of it can become a source of worry and anxiety. A house is for living. Do not let it become an unmanageable burden. Large or small, if those dwelling inside are happy, that's what matters. It doesn't matter where the house stands. If there are fragrant flowers and wild grass, that's the best place. Rank or status is the result of effort and training, not a privilege. Having moderate recognition can be a blessing because excessive fame and power often lead to distrust. Eating and drinking sustain the body. Food can also serve as medicine, so don't be wasteful. Eating just enough nourishes you. Overeating destroys your own health. Happiness does not come from comparing yourself with others, but from gradually feeling it within your own heart. Enduring joy does not come from external circumstances, but from your inner being. Therefore, none of these external things are truly important. Living well each day is what truly matters. In the human realm, when we have a little, we want more. When we have more, we desire even more. Yet when we lose everything, we suddenly realize, if only we had just a little left, just a little would be enough. Know contentment and be content. If you keep waiting to be fully content, when will you ever be content? Indeed, knowing contentment is among the precious keys that opens the door to peace. Life is not a race, but a journey for us to gradually discover the meaning of existence. What matters is not the prize at the finish line, but rather what we learn and feel along each step of the path. Hence, we must remain conscious of ourselves, aware that we are truly living in each breath. If we cannot do this, then we are not truly living, merely existing. Everyone knows a simple truth. We come into this world and leave it empty-handed. So why try to seize and cling to everything for ourselves, especially those things that never really belong to us? Amid this misty, ever-shifting reality, no matter how countless the paths seem, we continue onward with wisdom and compassion. Compassion must be guided by discernment, gently leading us in harmony with life's currents. With deeper insight, we live at ease. All suffering and all happiness arise from the mind itself and vanish through the mind. Hence, the state of our mind determines how we perceive our life and our world. Destiny emerges from within. Choosing a path is tantamount to deciding our fate. We should not linger overly on the past. Live fully in the present and set our sights on the future. Doing so ensures that tomorrow will be brighter. Sometimes, confronting the destructive force of impermanence, we may feel close to collapse. But if we can absorb and understand the underlying truths, we realize that for so long we have already enjoyed so many of life's gifts. Now the universe simply reclaims some portion to offer to others, nothing bitter about it. It's a natural law. Where there is attainment, there will be loss. Where there is gathering, there will be separation. Yet people generally do not want to lose. Humans suffer because they hope all things remain constant, while life's nature is change. Conversely, some people inflict suffering on others to serve themselves and find their own pleasure. Thus, in one person's gain and delight lies another's loss and sorrow. But so be it. Why focus on the negative side of society, when the nature of this world has always been thus? If we can let go, and truly let go, the heart will find peace. Living, we should simply and diligently do our work, allowing our days to flow gently and freely. Human suffering often stems from greed, anger, and ignorance. Therefore, to live happily, you should let go of some personal desires and accept imperfection as a natural part of being human. A human life arrives naked and departs naked. We eat only 3 meals a day. When we need rest, just one room is enough. So why harbor such endless desires, which only leave us perpetually unsatisfied? Excessive wanting is a source of our suffering. If one wishes to lessen affliction, first learn to let go. Understand, though, that letting go means releasing greed, not abandoning one's duties and responsibilities. Sometimes being overly scrutinizing makes one unhappy over trivial matters. Living more casually or letting things pass can sometimes yield joy and contentment. Why so? Because the overly scrutinizing person tends to be too serious and amplifies even minor matters into something major. Overthinking leads to exhaustion. Daily life becomes dominated by trivial troubles, leaving little room for calm or delight. Meanwhile, the person who lets things pass cares less about everything around them. Perhaps for that reason, life becomes simpler, even if a bit rough around the edges, yet it lets them find life's genuine flavor and maintain inner peace. Everyone inevitably encounters things they find unsatisfactory. At such times, we must endure. From ancient times to today, those who achieve great deeds must possess a grand spirit. One with such a spirit naturally has great forbearance. Forbearance does not mean avoidance or cowardice. It is a way of accumulating energy. Those who know how to endure rarely make mistakes stemming from reckless, hasty actions. Kindness is the highest virtue of humankind. A compassionate heart may not grant you everything you desire, but it can bring you inner calm. A joyful mind and a light heart are the secrets to longevity and youthfulness. We do not stop playing because we grow old. Rather, we grow old because we stop playing. A smile is the most wonderful cosmetic that brings beauty to people and is the simplest, fastest way to connect us all. Why is it that after middle age, some have gentle, good-natured faces, while others look harsh and full of resentment? It's because appearance is born from the mind and changes according to the mind. When the heart is beautiful, the features follow suit. When someone's heart is filled with love, their every move overflows with that love. When someone is full of calculation and comparison, it shows in every moment with unpleasantness. Walk alongside those who understand tolerance, and their hearts will surely be broad. They will not fuss over trivial matters, nor be overly elated by small gains. Those who are always calculating live warily. As the old saying goes, step back once, and the sea and sky become vast. Sometimes stepping back is a form of moving forward. Yielding a bit brings more friends. Pushing ahead yet losing oneself means it's time to stop. If you need to retreat to better understand yourself, don't be afraid to take a few steps or even many backward. The values of life set for you to strive for are all relative. The two words success in the future, defined by human society, can imprison the present living of many into a mental jail. What does it mean to forever chase illusions to the point of forgetting to live fully in the here and now? Often, people's suffering comes from fear of losing something or someone that they have grown attached to. When a real loss happens, they waver and fall into misery, unable to accept the truth. In reality, no one can lose something they never truly owned. Whatever genuinely belongs to you will always belong to you. That which does not, no matter how tightly you hold on, will inevitably leave. Once you recognize this, you can gradually release your demands and dependencies, finding more freedom and happiness. Love sincerely, but do not let your sense of peace and happiness depend too heavily on any single person. You become angry because your heart is not yet big enough. You grow troubled because your mind is not yet broad enough. You worry because your awareness is not yet calm enough. You feel grief because your will is not yet steadfast enough. You linger in pain because your thoughts are not yet positive enough. You envy because you are not yet excellent enough yourself. All afflictions stem from within. Whenever they arise, it is an opportunity to look inward, realize our own shortcomings, and strive for transformation. Whoever is born human has a certain store of merit, akin to a moon shining with that corresponding fortune. If we fail to nourish these blessings, instead creating negative deeds, we become like the moon waning from its full phase on the 15th day to the dark night of the 30th, a sad decline into darkness, isn't it? But if we treasure and enhance our shining moon, accumulating ever more goodness, we will be like the waxing moon from the first day to the 15th, growing brighter each night, a beautiful thing. Wouldn't you agree? Being human isn't necessarily difficult if you think of it as merely keeping a kind heart. But it's certainly not easy to move thousands of hearts or silence the world's gossip. Each of us walks our own path. When storms arise, just remember to tell yourself, once we pass through the storms, the sun will naturally appear. There's no point complaining incessantly to others whether you say anything or not. They might not really care. Certain things, once you put them down, leave you feeling lighter. Certain people, when remembered, bring you happiness. Certain sorrows, when understood, will make you stronger. Dwelling too long on any one issue can trap you in a loop. Truly, even the simplest matter, if overthought, becomes complicated. Just maintain composure and an open heart, and whatever comes will be handled simply and pass by lightly. A human lifetime passes quickly. If you can move beyond superficial fame and illusion, you can grasp what is genuine. When facing something complex, resolve it with a gentle approach and discard needless attachments, so your mind stays unburdened and you can keep moving forward. If you yield the road to others, you can avoid contention. Broadening your vision, you may discover a rainbow after the rain. If your baggage is light, traveling 10,000 miles is easy. In truth, the most beautiful sights are not just seen with the eyes, but felt from the heart. Deep emotions need no words to be recognized through actions. Whenever you feel displeased, think of water in its flowing nature, always soft and gentle, silently accepting, and then transforming everything, never contending or arguing. If each person could cultivate that mindset, why would the world not be peaceful and people's hearts not be at ease? If you see the good in everyone and the meaning in everything, you will find life delightful and the world wonderful. But if you confront the world with a troubled mind, everything becomes an obstacle, the world seeming ugly and abhorrent. Recognize white as white, black as black. Do not seek white in black, nor black in white. If you see each color clearly, life stays peaceful. Many wish to become more beautiful, yet the best way to be beautiful is to keep a tranquil heart and a cheerful spirit. Such a radiance makes people around you feel light and free from aversion. In truth, what we receive in this life is the fruit of what we have done before, and what we are doing now will shape our future. Life continues that way. Recognizing this spares us many negative thoughts and stops us from blaming the world or others when things are not as we wish. Merit is nurtured by diligence and a life of giving. Have compassion to help those in need. Offer gratitude to those who have shown you love and kindness, and hold a heart of respect for both people and situations. With faith in cause and effect, one will be cautious about committing any misdeeds. Always respect others and cultivate tolerance. The ocean is vast because it takes in all rivers. In this life, there are two things we must do: move forward and stop. Are we doing them with a positive mindset? Because a positive mind is our best companion, keeping us joyful and healthy. With both those close to us and mere acquaintances, if there is a chance to interact, we should nurture positive connections. For not lighting incense on ordinary days, yet rushing to hold the Buddha's feet in times of trouble, is futile. Thus, we must remember to invest in human relationships. Just as we deposit money in a bank account, the more we save and the longer we keep it there, the greater the interest grows. When facing difficulties, do not be hasty or jump to conclusions, especially in anger. Always try to consider things from multiple perspectives. Forbearance can reduce major problems to minor ones, and minor ones to nothing at all. When dealing with complex issues, all the more reason to approach them with calmness. And never make something simple become tangled. We must learn to feel content. Most of our troubles arise from pointless comparisons. In this world, naturally some have less than you, and some surpass you. When you complain you lack nice shoes, remember there are those who don't even have feet. If your opponent can make you angry, it shows you have not yet risen above them. Looking back at the one who insults you is unnecessary, like being bitten by a rabid dog. Would you bite the dog back to get even? So do not concern yourself too much with people's harsh words. Do not see your job as a burden. Instead of complaining, it's better to face it joyfully and positively. Treat your work as life, as an art, and you will savor the joy it brings. Being able to live one more day is already a blessing. Cherish it. Human life lasts only a few decades. Do not do things that will cause you endless regret. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Whether you are sad or happy, each day still passes. If you pay no mind to pointless gossip, your life will be tranquil and your spirit light. Life is short, do not waste it. Fortune ebbs and flows, do not be alarmed. Life itself is precious, do not treat it carelessly. Anger harms yourself, do not indulge it. Life is inherently joyful, do not be sorrowful. Our parents deserve our gratitude, do not be unfilial. Spouses are a destiny, do not despise them. Children are our close kin, do not abandon them. Affection needs nurturing, do not measure and keep score. Blind faith deceives, do not be misled. Desire is endless, do not overindulge. Helping others is just, do not neglect it. Peace is happiness, do not let yourself be disturbed. Pay attention to the words you speak. Do not let a fleeting excitement or impulsive moment direct your mouth. One warm-hearted remark can bring comfort through 3 chilly winters. One venomous statement can freeze someone in the scorching midday heat. Therefore, think before speaking. When something is sensitive, be even more measured with your words. Avoid idle chatter that only arouses resentment. Over time, this might transform enemies into friends. If a person does not cherish the values of life, their heart and mind will become barren like a desolate wasteland. Understand that loving others is also a way of loving yourself. Offer your love generously to all, like the midday sun illuminating every corner. If you harbor hatred, the one you hate might not feel harmed, but you yourself will never be at peace. So never harbor resentment toward anyone. Fate between people is like a book. If you don't read carefully, you miss its subtle delights. If you take it too seriously, you may tire yourself out. Live sincerely and humbly. Treat others kindly to create blessings for yourself. No one's life is completely perfect. We all encounter betrayals that cannot always be predicted. So do not be quick to blame or resent. Life is already not easy. Each household has its own circumstances, each person their own suffering. Hence, never ridicule anyone. Respecting others is to respect yourself. In this world, if you want people's trust, prove yourself worthy. If you keep your word, people will want to befriend you. If you are reliable, people will lean on you. If you are sincere, life will willingly place its trust in you. Say what needs to be said, otherwise remain silent, that is a form of wisdom. Do what should be done, otherwise withdraw, that is a form of understanding. Show what should be shown, otherwise remain hidden, that is a form of insight. People around you may be worthy of trust, but do not expect handouts. If you have contributed, accept what is rightfully yours. If not, decline it. We walk life's path step by step. Feelings between people grow bit by bit. A life story is written page by page. Nobody faces hardship forever. No one is free from sorrow their entire life. Maintain a positive mindset and all will be well. We come into this world with two major events, birth and death. One is already done, so only one remains, no need to rush. Whatever comes with enough conditions arises, and once finished, it dissolves. Waiting and seeking, what does that yield? The truly wise are not swayed by the world's gossip or the judgments of others. They simply understand their own hearts, observe their strengths and weaknesses, and slowly refine themselves. That, too, is a form of spiritual cultivation. The greatest confusion in life is having no spiritual anchor, not knowing where you should direct your heart. Whether you realize it or not, whether you admit it or not, if your heart holds only goodness, no situation can truly trouble you. If your inner heart is truly kind, you will not remain angry with anyone. If your way of living is truly simple, then no matter how chaotic the world is, it cannot affect you. Being a good person ensures a healthy body and a peaceful mind. Good deeds are seen by heaven and earth, admired even by unseen beings. Without suspicion, the world will never seem cold. Without prejudice, no distance will seem too far. Free from anger, the sky is always warm. Free from conflict, the four seas remain calm. True stillness is not merely sitting motionless for hours. It is about using a calm mind to observe all things, to hear even the silent growth of plants and flowers. Steadfast peace stems from within. You will not find it outside, no matter how hard you seek. People strive their entire lives, toil their entire lives, yet when they depart, they cannot take even a single blade of grass with them. After a lifetime hoarding and clinging, in the end, they cannot bring along any worldly prestige or adulation they once enjoyed. So whether rich or poor, upon reaching life's limit, all must bid the same farewell. Indeed, a lifetime is so short. Countless people vow to live 100 years, yet in a blink they've become memories. Some newly forge close bonds, only to wake and discover they are separated by life and death. So while you still have the chance, do not commit misdeeds. Do not think too much or fret too much. Don't desire extravagantly. As a person, it's fine to have little money, just don't let your spirit be impoverished. Don't let the lack of wealth narrow your vision. Though you might never achieve glory, at least be someone of genuine usefulness. As a person, your appearance may not be striking, but never let your inner self become ugly. Kindness and compassion do not depend on outward beauty, but emerge from the soul. It's fine to be short of stature, but do not let your heart become small and mean. No one likes those with a narrow mind. Even with thin shoulders and a frail back, a gentle and kind heart can bring solace and warmth to countless others. It's fine to have a slight, weak frame, but do not let your spirit become timid. Those who are timid are prone to pessimism and self-doubt. Therefore, one must cultivate courage, self-assurance, and confidence. You might be slow with your hands and eyes, but do not let your mind become dull. Always remind yourself to keep a clear mind, to see far and think deeply. It's acceptable to be a bit rough around the edges, but never be so willful that you let your ambition turn you into a demon. Otherwise, if you don't fall into hell, who will? It's fine to be clever, but never think you alone are extraordinary while everyone else is foolish. Otherwise, you will be the true fool in this world. A bit of laziness is permissible, but never let yourself become idle day after day. Do what needs to be done wholeheartedly. Maintain a spirit of contribution if you don't want to be a parasite on society. A bit of frugality is commendable, but do not let it turn into extreme stinginess about money. If so, you might start judging everyone by their wealth, and eventually you'll become a slave to it. Being tolerant is good, but do not let others disregard and exploit your forbearance to continue doing wrong. No matter what, you must keep a sense of principle and personal dignity. Life can be hard, but do not let hardship drag on without any avenue for relief. Learn how to rise above it. Some things, once they happen, you can only accept. Some people, once lost, you can only let go. Some paths, once chosen, you can only continue. Many wonderful things in life come from patiently waiting rather than scrambling to seize them. Cultivate patience if you do not want to miss the opportunity for happiness. Enjoy every little thing that arises in your life because tomorrow, when you look back, you may realize they were all very important. Many events need to become memories before we fully comprehend their value. If there truly is affinity, distance or time will not matter. If there is no affinity, even when you meet, you are still worlds apart. Perhaps we each must traverse many roads, experience both splendor and hardship, before we truly mature. When you see clearly through someone and choose not to expose them, you will grasp the meaning of forgiveness. When you dislike someone and still manage not to turn against them, you understand the pinnacle of respect. A person grows not simply by living longer, traveling far, or encountering many things, but by knowing when to let go or be generous, avoiding unnecessary conflict and struggle. We've all borne certain pains, not because they cease to hurt over time, but because we know that complaining changes nothing, it only reveals our vulnerability. Maturing means retaining your smile while transforming suffering into happiness. No matter how bad life looks, face it bravely. Don't think of running away, cursing, or complaining. In life, plenty of things won't go your way. The sun does not fail to rise because you are upset. The moon won't stay high because you harbor resentments. Closing your eyes doesn't plunge the world into darkness. Forcing others to be blind does not grant you the light. In this world, there is only an axe not yet sharp enough, not a tree or grass that cannot be cut. The difference lies in whether someone has truly thought of a suitable method or not. If they truly want to do it, they'll find a way. If not, they'll find an excuse. Life is like a glass of water, hot or cold. If the temperature is suitable, you can drink it. Whether sweet or bitter, if the taste suits you, it is delicious. Whether the rhythm is fast or slow, if it appeals to your ears, it is good music. The four seasons revolve spring, summer, autumn, winter, and no matter which it is, if it suits your mood, it is wonderful. We often say people live up to 100 years, but on average, we reach 70 or 80. So eventually, all will come and go according to the ephemeral nature of life. In our youth, we may roam far and wide, studying, honing ourselves, exploring the many changing yet beautiful world. When we reach middle age, we learn to pause and reflect on life's mysteries, turning inward and aligning ourselves with the universe and humankind. In old age, we resemble autumn leaves dry and trembling in the breeze, merely waiting for our days of cause and effect to end, returning to Mother Earth, continuing the cycle of birth and death throughout myriad forms of existence and non-existence. Our mindset in these latter years gradually learns to release attachments, and our two hands begin letting go of what we once clung to. When our hair is white, we are truly old. We no longer expect some celestial messenger to warn us in advance. Death stands close by, ready to embrace us. Imagine that final moment of departure. Those we have loved, those we have hated, the things we cherished, the goals we strived for, do they still hold meaning? Standing aside, helplessly observing your own lifeless body, surrounded by those you once knew, are they weeping or reproachful inside? At that moment, what do people remember most about us, if not our kindness? The destiny of a lifetime, the peaceful days, the shared happiness. If someone mourns your passing, it means you lived well in their eyes. The value of a person's life is measured by what they have done for others and how they've contributed to this world. Have we helped or saved anyone, or did we bring them only suffering, coercion, or animosity? Some people still live in this world, yet hearing their name makes others tremble. Just seeing their silhouette makes hearts ache. In that case, our coming or going no longer matters. Decades pass as mere existence, not true living. At the time of death, whether in serene love or tormented regrets, depends on how we chose to treat people and life itself. Let us love throughout this lifetime, wholeheartedly giving love. Where love continues, it always sparkles, no matter which realm we pass into. Peace is present in each tranquil morning and in every dusk. Life is not a battlefield. There is no need to determine who wins or loses among people. As empathy increases, misunderstanding decreases. Among tasks, if we concede more, conflict lessens. Certain matters require patience. Certain people require tolerance. You cannot settle everything, nor do you need the world's complete agreement, for each individual holds different views and personalities. We often take ourselves too seriously, leading to worry over gains and losses, feeling that people do not understand us. In truth, being human means learning to take ourselves more lightly, to diminish our ego, and to place ourselves in others' shoes, making life far more endearing. Therefore, the more we open our hearts, the more joy we gain. The greater our capacity for tolerance, the more we receive in return. Do not gossip behind others' backs, nor should we care too much about rumors directed at us, for a person without any merit to speak of will not be gossiped about, while those who excel are inevitably noticed and judged. In life, admitting you are wrong is a form of honesty. Letting go is a mark of dignity. If you offer honesty and receive no tolerance in return, it suggests that other person is somewhat petty or uncouth. If you can embrace all unfavorable events in life, focus on your responsibilities over personal gain, you are standing on a higher spiritual plane. If you can look ahead with hope, look down with compassion, and look up with gratitude, then you are standing on a higher plane of the soul. We need not only to look far and see clearly, but also to see through things in a liberating way. Seeing far means comprehending the whole picture. Seeing through reveals how all the clamor in the world revolves around name and gain. People rush in for fame and go away for profit. Seeing clearly does not mean we have no desires. It means our hearts can remain tranquil and at peace. The most frightening aging process is not physical, but the loss of a progressive spirit. We cannot change our outward form, but we can reshape our inner nature. When character changes, one's life path follows suit. In our everyday interactions, remember, kindness, enthusiasm, and sincerity often yield good results. Sometimes a simple, friendly smile is even more effective than polite formality, bringing warmth to others. In all relationships, there is always a seed of cause. If you regard others as bodhisattvas, they will be caring and noble. If you regard them as demons, they will appear frightening. It's like looking into a mirror. If you smile, you see a smiling face. If you frown, you see a sorrowful face. It's the same between friends. If you treat them with respect, they will respond gently. If you treat them with disdain, you will receive indifference or contempt. Therefore, in life, be genuine with friends, be loving with family, be tolerant with the ones you love, and be forgiving toward your enemies. If you always hold a kind thought, others will sense it and respond in kind. When the heart is filled with what is good, the quality of life improves. Form arises from the mind. Circumstances shift according to the mind. When your heart is large with kindness, it radiates outward and brings about many positive results. Life always holds two faces, good and bad, coexisting. The key is whether we devote our energy to one or the other. Why fixate on the negative aspects, descending into pessimism and despair? When facing dark moments, can we not look at the positive that still exists in the world and realize we have reasons to love and reasons to hope? Moreover, we might even thank life for letting us taste suffering. From there, we learn to empathize with others' pain and to cherish life more deeply. Human nature is both simple and frightening. A kind heart can accommodate everything, but a cruel heart can harm countless people. If we are too cunning, we drive others away. If we are too harsh, we provoke resentment. Clashing fiercely over everything and seizing every advantage we can, ultimately, we lose people's goodwill, degrading ourselves in the process. Therefore, when it comes to wealth and profit, be a bit less shrewd to maintain harmony. Faced with tricky moral issues, be a bit more foolish to keep your conscience clear. In the scramble for name and gain, being a bit foolish spares you mental anguish. When hearing baseless rumors, being a bit foolish prevents them from entering your ears. No one is perfect. Each person has their own style, and so we might encounter admiration, jealousy, or resistance. Yet deep down, most of us wish to avoid rivalry and strife. Those who are genuinely wise do not live overly cunning lives, always plotting. They choose at times to appear a bit foolish in order to stay kind and keep away from endless conflict. Life is short. Knowing how to be satisfied and content is the path to peace. In a busy world, being a little foolish is your key to freedom. Destiny is born from within. Choosing a path is choosing a fate. Let us not dwell on the past. Live fully in the present and turn our eyes to the future. Do so, and tomorrow will surely be brighter. When criticized by others, it's fine to feel a bit upset, but do not explode with anger. Treat criticism as a chance to review yourself and adjust where necessary. When flattered by others, it's all right to feel some pleasure, but do not take it at face value. Most praise is a tactic to gain favor. Do not let sweet words stir up arrogance. If life were truly all suffering, you would not have the energy to complain. If living were truly all hardship, you would not have the strength to grumble. If you were truly at the end of your rope, you would not have the leisure to lament everywhere. Always remember, you live for yourself. Hence, do whatever job you do, so long as you do it with a clear conscience and fulfill your duty. Even if you are extremely talented or well-prepared, unfavorable things will arise simply by their nature. Where there is success, there is also failure. Where there is union, there is separation. Yet most humans do not want to fail. We suffer because we wish things to remain forever, but impermanence is the law of life. Sometimes, confronted with impermanence, we may be on the verge of collapse. Yet if we understand the truth of dependent arising, we realize that we have long been enjoying so many gifts from the cosmos. Now, the universe reclaims a portion to share with others. What is bitter about that? Where there is gain, there is loss. If there is gathering, there is dispersal. Meanwhile, some disregard others' pain for their own benefit or amusement. So in the joy or gain of one, there is a hidden loss or sorrow for another. But why focus on the negative aspect of life when it has always been so? If we understand how to let go, truly let go, our hearts can be at peace. All pain and all happiness arise from our mind and cease in our mind. Therefore, how our mind is will determine our own experience of life. Each day, we face many unwelcome things, disloyalty, and circumstances beyond our control. We cannot always prevent these, so it is better to learn how to adapt and gradually accept them with peace. Cultivate patience, tolerance, and forbearance. Strive to view yourself and others more kindly and gently. Do not worry too much about failure. Let the past be past. Focus fully on the present moment. There is no need to resurrect unpleasant memories and bury yourself in them. Those with broad, forgiving hearts never feel they are treated unfairly by adversity. They neither lament their fate nor resent the heavens or humankind. They remain calm, ceaselessly learning and working to change their circumstances. Confronted by hardship, some may falter, others may fall, but there are always those who courageously press on. Every difficulty on our life's path is a precious opportunity to develop perseverance and composure, preparing us for greater accomplishments in the future. The path of worldly life and the spiritual path share a key element. Both require perseverance, patience, and constant effort. If one practices the way with a lazy mind, succumbing to fleeting joys and sorrows attached to fame and transient pleasures, and does not diligently study and overcome personal unwholesome deeds, then their practice is as futile as trying to cook sand into rice. There is a saying, everything is created by the mind. As each year goes by, don't blame your life for standing still. Observe instead how much your mental state has changed. Those who view life as a battlefield will always find struggles to fight. Those who see life as a journey will notice many scenic wonders along the way. And those who regard life as a shifting cloud remain serene amid change. Indeed, life is like that. There might not be absolute right or wrong, only acceptance. Whether we meet with harmonious or painful experiences depends on our inner attitude as we face the ups and downs of this world. Often, we must fail many times before recognizing the value of humility and patience. We must succeed many times to appreciate the worth of courage and faith. We must meet many people before we realize the value of sincere friendship. We must endure many stumbles to recognize the worth of understanding and leniency. We must chase fame and fortune repeatedly to sense the importance of letting go. We must face many disagreements to cherish harmony and forgiveness. We must encounter countless unpleasant sights to value spiritual self-cultivation. We must deal with many social engagements to treasure solitude and peace. We must encounter much deceit to prize sincerity and simplicity. Knowing how to forget unhappy events and stay away from places or people that make you feel unworthy is part of truly living. As long as tomorrow exists, today remains the perfect time to move toward truth, virtue, and beauty. It is so common in this world to hold your head high in pride, but truly humbling yourself is difficult. It's easy to talk a lot, but knowing how to keep silent at the right moment is hard. It's easy to promise, but hard to fulfill those promises. It's easy to suspect and judge others, but hard to trust and see the good in them. As we often observe, we readily see others' mistakes but rarely notice our own, even if they're right before us. We remember our own merits clearly but frequently forget to repay what others have done for us. Loving those who are kind and likable is not as hard as loving those who still have many faults and flaws. Bowing down to a tyrant can sometimes be easier than bowing in reverence to a sage. Indulging in worldly pleasures is easier than upholding discipline and living simply in virtue. Accepting the rules of moral restraint is easier than truly maintaining them in daily life. Chasing fleeting worldly desires is easy, letting go is far more distant. The cycle of birth and death is already in full motion. Liberation is indeed difficult. Human arrogance is like a high wall. Only one bow of humility could dissolve the deep ego within. Suddenly, the sky is bigger and the earth more expansive.